Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're breaking down our picks for the top 5 and one worst level 2 Warlock Spells.
Yeah. This is such a weird list for me because this is kind of Warlock 9th level spells to me because I normally don't stick around in the class much longer than this. This is the top end of my Warlock spell slots where I just go full caster with two short rest second level spell slots. That's pretty good. But maybe you go to 5 and you get your extra attack and stuff like that. But if you're staying in Warlock for the long haul, the context of these gets very different. So what you intend to do with the class is going to matter a lot in terms of what you consider for your second level spell picks. Just because if you're forced to upcast them, pack magic forces you to upcast things. So we'll see what we can do.
And naturally, I put zero thought into any of that. I just
pick what you like.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I do.
That's the Bob mentality. Just pick what you like. Honestly, as far as D&D goes, I think it's probably how you can have the most fun is just pick what you like. As long as what you like isn't 1 out of 5 unusable trash, because then you'll just be sad because it won't do anything. But if you like even 2s and 3s, you can still get plenty of mileage out of it. This game isn't competitive, so.
I'm curious how many will have the same, but let's find out.
All right,
you can go first this time. What do you got?
Okay, my number 5.
Which way are you going? Number 5, all right.
Yeah, my number 5, I'm calling it. It's kind of honorary because exactly one Warlock option wants it, but it's really good on that Warlock option, so I picked Darkness.
Okay.
Which doesn't make any other list ever, but very crucially is an invocation lets you see through magical darkness, which feels very munchkiny and cheesy whenever you put it down to paper, because you'll be like, okay, I have Eldritch Blast, great. I put Darkness on myself, now I have advantage on all my attack rolls, and everything's disadvantage on attack rolls against me. And you're just firing out Eldritch Blasts with advantage ad nauseum. It's really cute on melee builds, but you still don't really want to knock concentration off, so you're going to have a little bit of pool there. But if you're taking the invocation lets you see through magical darkness, I do think this 1-2 combo of 1 spell, 1 invocation for a cool advantage on all attack rolls thing that comes with this weird bubble your party has to play around can be a lot of
fun. Darkness made my list for exactly the same reasons. What is it called? Eldritch Sight or Witch Sight? Which one is it?
Oh god, I don't remember. I'm gonna bet Eldritch Sight because I think Witch Sight's the True Sight one.
Right.
That's my guess. Although Eldritch Sight might be Detect Magic.
Actually, you know what? You might be right.
I think it's Devil's Sight.
Devil's Sight, that's what it is.
That's got to be it, I think.
Yeah. A lot of sights.
Lots of eyeballs in the Warlock invocations. People give those up for all kinds of magical power, evidently.
So I thought, man, you already said it all, but I think when is Darkness going to be cool? This is when it's going to be the most cool. This is this spell, that invocation, beautiful combination, and I could not pass up the opportunity to bring it up here.
I desperately wish it scaled. I wish it got bigger. I wish it had lasted longer. I wish it dropped concentration or something. I wish there was some way to make it so you can cast with the 3rd level slot and not feel like booty. But there isn't a way that you can do that. So take 3 levels, do the Sorcerer Munchkin stuff, right? Where you're quickening Eldritch Blasts, and you just take the rest of your class levels in Sorcerer. You have enough to get Darkness and Devil's Sight, and then that's what your Warlock spell class does, is it provides you with the Eldritch invocation stuff for your Iridizing Blast, and then you're just firing off from a pool of darkness advantage attack rolled Eldritch Blasts.
Well, all right, going a little further into that, are there any other sorcerer meta magics that could enhance? You said you wish it could be bigger. Is there a bigger?
The reason I just wanted to do anything else is not because it's that much more valuable. It's just because it has no benefit whatsoever to be using the 3rd level spell slot on. Even if you do have a extend spell or something on this to increase the range, or nothing off the top of my mind doubles the area of it. There might be a modern meta magic that does that. And even so, a 30-foot radius sphere of darkness is gigantic, but it doesn't need to be that good. It just will always be a bummer that if you decide to stick it with Warlock the whole time, you'll still be possibly casting Darkness using 5th level spell slots, and that won't ever feel great.
No. All right. What else? What did I pick? I guess we'll stick in the same general territory here. I picked Invisibility.
My number 1.
That was number 1.
Invisibility.
Yeah. It's Invisibility.
Pretty known quantity. It's going to be good, powerful, does a lot of things a lot of other spells can't, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we talk about the spell every single time we talk about 2nd level spells. It's just this is the best one.
It's Invisibility. We've got a video on it. We probably do.
We have to.
Yeah.
If we don't, we'll make one and it'll be even messier than our regular conversation.
We've got like 50 videos on it because we talk about it all the time.
It is on the Artificer, Bard, Sorcerer, Warlock, and Wizard spell list. Go watch any of those second level spell videos, and we'll talk about it there.
Yeah,
if you go to our
guaranteed.
Disguise Self video, we talk about it there. If you go to our Alter Self video, we talk about it there. Just like any stealth-based video is going to talk about invisibility. So
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
really, really good. My number 4 might be wrong. I'm putting Cloud of Daggers here, and I'm not proud of that. I'm not proud that Cloud of Daggers is getting this slot. However, Cloud of Daggers is damage that cannot miss. And damage that cannot miss is good. And it does upcast. And it actually upcasts really well. 2d4 is a lot better than a d6 upcast. So, like, there'll be moments where you'll just be like, oh, hey, 8d4 damage. And it just happens. Because you just spend a 5th level spell or 4th level spell on it, right? You'll get to 9th level, you'll be like, 10d4 damage. Happens. And there's nothing they can do about it the first time it happens, right? Then they start their turn in there, or they enter it for the first time, they're going to take a big chunk of damage. And while it's not like the most revolutionary spell in the world, having concentration is genuinely a pretty big issue for it. On Warlocks, having a quick, like, it's just damage right here, right now option is kind of appealing. And it fits the kind of niche category where it's, even though you only get 2 slots, this is going to fill an important role that you're going to be pretty happy to have access to for that 1 or 2 competing slots. They'll be like the niche window where like, it has like 15 HP. We can't afford to miss Cloud of Daggers.
Yeah, those are all excellent points. That did not make my list. Now that I'm looking at my list, I don't think I have a single damage spell on it.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't love damage spells and Warlock spell slots, generally speaking. Normally, you have a pretty good action for your damage.
Yeah. Cloud of Daggers. Cool.
It's a neat one. Try it out if you haven't. I think it's actually pretty fine. Especially, like, Bob, you like the pushing pooling thing, right?
Yeah.
This is great with pushing pooling. Because the damage happens, no save. If you can put them into it, they start their turn in it, they take the damage again. Yeah, it can be sweet.
This is part of the reason I do like push and pulling. Yeah, great with repelling blast.
Possibly.
Yeah. All right. What else do I have? I've got hold person.
That's my number 2. We're just doing bottom, top, middle. Anticlimactic ending.
I did not yeah. We didn't say our caveat. I don't order mine. I'm just shooting at random. All right. Hold person. Again, we've talked about this before. When it works, it's a death sentence.
What's really nice is it upcasts really well. You get multiple targets with this thing. So, like, if you are going 9 in Warlock, you're like, great, 5th level hold person, lock them down. 4 targets, potentially, it's very good. And again, it kind of hits that sweet spot where the encounters where hold person's really good, you want to cast it. Even if it's competing with the 5th level slots, you're like, oh yeah, no, this is exclusively debilitating in this encounter and will be excellent here. And then at the same time, like, you know, you'll often have room for other things to shine on your sheet too. So you'll be able to get a little bit more juice out of your spell slots based off what you prepare, because this is kind of a silver bullet effect. And
the more targets you get, the more of a guarantee it's going to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like the upscale hitting more targets effects, and I wish more spells did it, because I think there's a lot of spells in this game that would go from uncastable to, or like pretty bad, to a lot more interesting if their modes expanded at the upper tiers. But especially the saber dice, yeah. I think even things like Chromatic Orb, I would be so much more into it if I could shoot multiple orbs over just getting a damage upscale. Maybe don't let it hit the same target, but like I would like that flexibility a lot more. But yeah. Oh well. All right, what's next? Final option for me. We're just blitzing through my top 5. Suggestion. Suggestion's yucky good. I love Suggestion. I pick Suggestion as well. Now, there's a small issue with it. It doesn't upcast at all. So again, this is kind of like the same with Invisibility. Invisibility does kind of upcast, but it allows you do it on more people, and most of the power in Invisibility is putting it on one person. Like the scaling of having 2 invisible creatures or 3 invisible creatures doesn't make it that much more game-changing. So also Suggestion on having that upcast is a big deal, which definitely should signal, like, hey, this is a multi-class Warlock option. Like, this is something you consider on multi-class Warlocks more so than dedicated, like, 9th level, 10th level, 11th level Warlocks. But in that window where you're on a multi-class Warlock, it's a powerful effect. 8-hour duration. You just suggest somebody does some really important course of action, or really, like, you know, mundane get out of your course of action, and you can wildly alter how the game is played. Yeah, I'm not too bothered with it not upcasting
or having any additional effects like that. Feel like suggestion is the type of thing, especially for out of combat utility, where you can get a really good effect from it, and then go take a short rest or whatever.
That's it. Having that 8-hour duration does also make that like a real thing you could consider. Is just, oh, I'll fire off 2 suggestions before I haven't used my spell slots for the day. Great, we're taking a short rest. Suggest once because it's got concentration, and then you short rest on it. Sure, seems fine to me.
Yeah. Anything else to say about that?
Commoners at home, if you haven't played with Suggestion, try it out. It is a really fun spell, and you will regularly be surprised with it. Like, wow, Suggestion is really good in almost every environment I'm in. If something understands me, it's excellent.
All right. Are we down to my last one? Oh, we're flying through these today. Yes, we are.
We got places to be.
Yeah.
Namely, the bottom of the Warlock Spells list, the worst option. I can't wait to talk about it.
I've got, or for my last good one, I've got Misty Step.
I really consider putting Misty Step on my list, and I think it's uniquely bad on Warlocks. That being said, there are going to be some sheets that still probably have a good time with it, so like, I'm not upset with it. It's just, it's a lot more expensive, right?
Yeah. That's another one, there's no upcasting. But if you do need it, I mean, it's definitely got applications when you need it in combat, but there's a lot of out of combat potential for it as well.
Yeah. I think I'm also a little bit lower on it because while there are a lot of in combat and out of combat things you can do with it, I have a hard time seeing me wanting to spend one of my 2 spell slots, especially if they're 3rd, 4th, or 5th level, on a 30-foot teleport, whatever. You got like other out of combat utility things readily available to you. I kind of feel the same way about Suggestion, honestly. I also am a little bit lower on it because the current playtest, they got like some of the only feedback that they've really made public and said people loved. They changed Archfey, the patron, just to give you a truckload of Misty Steps. So now there's just a subclass that gets a truckload of Misty Steps. So like, if you want to do it, just go that lane. That's way better because you don't have to, compete with your 2 spell slots for it. But yeah, I think that you won't necessarily be upset with it, especially as a 3rd level character, especially as a martial 3rd level character. Like if you're running around with a great sword and Pactical Blade, Misty Step for one of your 2 spell slots is not going to feel that bad. You're going to kind of feel like a fighter, but that's not the end of the world. So
I was thinking also like a blaster, like when it's just a little emergency button for if somebody gets through the front ranks and they're coming at you.
On top of the tree now. And then I still get my action to blast you.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. It is really efficient. It's just really expensive. Like on a full caster, when you're working with 2 or 3 second level spells, and then you got 4 first level spells, and then you got 3 third level spells, all that comes together to be like, I got options. I can spend one of these 11 resources on a Misty Step. On a Warlock, you're like, that's half of my spells for a 30-foot teleport. Feels a little bit worse there.
Yeah. All right, you want to go over your list again?
Yeah, sure. Top is invisibility. Honestly, if there's a list that invisibility doesn't get to be number 1 on it, it probably should be this list. I just think invisibility is excellent, and in terms of multi-classing characters, yeah, I'm definitely taking invisibility on my 3 levels dip into Warlock. If you're not doing that, this probably should be lower in your priority order because, it doesn't upcast that meaningfully. Hold Person does upcast meaningfully, that's why it's my number 2. Suggestion is, again, similar to invisibility, where it's like a really powerful 2nd level spell that's really good if you just have 2 short rest spell slots and then a full caster spell list to back it up. So, take it depending on your build. Clouded Daggers, I also think is like a perfectly fine little 4th pick for Warlocks if you're looking for a guaranteed damage option. Concentration does hurt, and you probably won't cast that much past like 3rd, 4th, 5th level whenever you've got better things to concentrate on. But if your concentration goes down, sure, why not some free damage? And closing things out with Darkness because Devil's Sight plus Darkness is a cool combo. Yeah, I really went into it here.
Yeah, you did. I was just gonna, and I still am just going to list mine. So we got 4 for 5 in that one. That's not bad. I got Hold Person, Darkness, Suggestion, Misty Step, and Invisibility.
Not too bad.
Now for the worst.
There are options. I started the best, so you can start with the worst.
All right. I chose a new one. Something we recently covered, Warp Sense.
That feels like cheating. But
yeah, it does.
It kind of like picking Create Spelljamming Helm or whatever, where it's like, that's not really for this.
If Create Spelljamming Helm was on the list that we're talking about, I'm picking it. I think I have.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, Warp Sense is awful. It's almost unusable even in the setting it's designed for, just because it's like, how useful is this effect? especially on Warlocks where it's super not a ritual spell. Yeah, no thanks. I don't want anything to do with the warp sense on even the wizards that could take it, and Warlocks definitely can't afford that. So I do think it is a pretty awful effect.
Just you sense the presence of portals within 30 feet of you.
Mine might. Oh, go for it.
No, that's what it does. You sense the presence of portals within 30 feet of you. I mean, most of the time,
if they need a key, you get the key.
Portals within 30%, within 30 feet of you, and when they are the 30 feet of you, you'll probably see them.
Yeah, I'd hazard a guess there are probably real 20 level characters that have never been within 30 feet of a portal. I would bet good money that some campaigns it's just never happened. Just never came up, and the spell would have vendetted the entire campaign.
And just if you think there's a portal around, just hang out for a while and see if people start materializing at the same place.
Yeah.
What do you got?
My worst is, it's not worse than Warp Sense, but I think it's a trap. And I think it's a trap that you should not fall into as a Warlock, and it's Shadowblade. So Shadowblade doesn't work with Warlock extra attack, and that's the fundamental problem with it. Thirsting Blade requires you make your extra attack with your packed weapon, and Shadowblade can't be your packed weapon. So if you want to summon a weapon to attack with on an attacky build, this doesn't scale with you at all. Your DM might rule that you can have it become your packed weapon, or you may forgo you have to double attack with your packed weapon, because it's frankly a really stupid rule. But like, I will see players that have come to the table with Shadowblade on their sheet thinking they get extra attack with it, and rules is written they don't, and I'd be like, oh, by the way, sorry, this is just worse than taking 2 attacks with your greatsword instead, right? This isn't a damage upgrade for you. This is in fact worse for you in a lot of ways. It does upscale to 48 damage with a 5th level slot, so like I understand why you would want to use it, but again, you're only making 1 attack, and that's not going to be worth the damage loss compared to 2 attacks with the whatever your pack weapon is.
So do you think this is just all around terrible spell, or is this specifically terrible for Warlocks?
It's particularly good in exactly one subclass, and that subclass is Bladesinger, because they have regular extra attack. Everyone else, it is terrible. If you ever get, 2 attacks for 48 damage, this is going to be like a 5th level spell that summons one of the best magic weapons you can get a hold of. If you're not making extra attack with it, you don't care about that. This will still be worse than cantripping. It'll still be worse than casting 1st level or higher spells. It'll be worse than most other things. Because Warlocks don't get native extra attack, you don't have room for Shadowblade, just for the reason Sorcerers aren't going to take this. The same reason every other Wizard subclass shouldn't be taking this. There's just better regular actions that you will be taking round around.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps it up. All right, that was level 2 Warlock Spells. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for watching us. Let us know your opinions and your lists down in the comments section below. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.